Hello friends, today me and my friend Aisha will talk about theories of teaching in language teaching. The first one is science research conceptions, and it's basically conceptions that are derived from research and experiments. The first one of science research conceptions is operationalizing research conceptions, and it means developing principles from research on factors that are believed to be important in learning, and audiolingual and task-based are great examples to this one, because in task-based, for example, involvement of learners in negotiation of meaning is considered to be important. The next one is tested model of teaching, and in this one, applying the results of experimental research to teaching is considered to be important, and I'll talk about an example research. It was conducted with a teacher, and the teacher was taught the advantages of wait time after asking questions, the difference between display and referential questions, and after the research it was found out that training affected teaching behaviors of teacher positively, and students' participation increased. The next one is doing what effective teachers do, and as you all understand from the headline, it's basically studying the practice of effective teachers. And also in the article, characteristics of effective teachers were defined, and actually there were like 20 of them, but I think the most important ones are the following ones, like giving clear instructions, using class time efficiently, having some classroom routines, positive interaction, incentives, rewards, and blah blah. The next one is theory philosophy conceptions, and I think that there's not much to talk about this one because article didn't mention it a lot. It's basically teaching conceptions that derive from what you think should work in the class. And the next one is theory-based approaches. This one is like they don't draw from experiments on teaching or classroom results because they are based on reasonable, systematic, and principled thinking. To support these approaches, communicative language teaching can be a great example to theory-based approaches because it occurred because of the inadequacy of linguistic and pedagogical theory underlining the grammar-based approaches. So it can be a great example to theory-based approaches that draw from reasonable, systematic thinking. Lastly, we have value-based approaches, and this one is developing a teaching model from the values one holds about teachers, learners, classrooms, and the role of education in society. I briefly defined the value-based approaches, and my friend Aisha will continue from now on. So, thank you for listening.
Value-based approaches mean developing a teaching model from the values one holds about teachers, learners, classrooms, and the role of education in society. Therefore, these approaches see teaching and learning are educationally justifiable. However, some certain approaches can be politically justifiable, while some cannot be ethically, morally, or politically justifiable in specific societies. Team teaching, humanistic approaches, learner-centered curriculum movement, and reflective teaching are some examples of values-based approaches. To explain them, team teaching means teachers work best when they collaborate with a peer or a colleague. Humanistic approaches mean development of human values, self-awareness, active students in learning, the way human learning takes place. Learner-centered curriculum movement means learners are self-directed, responsible decision-makers, and the last one, reflective teaching, means teachers' own professional development by being reflective. Teachers can improve their understanding of teaching and the quality of their own teaching by reflecting critically on their teaching experience via journal writing or video or audio recording, etc. The next one is art craft conceptions. They see teaching as an art or craft which depends on teachers' individual skills, personalities, and their capability of inventing. Also, these conceptions see teaching as a unique set of personal skills which teachers apply in different ways according to the demands of a specific situations. And also Zaharik says that the essence of this view, these art craft conceptions, is invention and personalization. To summarize all the presentation, science research conceptions aim to understand the learning principles and then develop tasks and activities based on the learning principles and then monitor students' performance on tasks to see that desired performance is being achieved. Theory philosophy conceptions aim to understand the theory and the principles and then select syllabi, materials and tasks based on the theory and lastly monitor your teaching to see that it conforms to the theory. Values-based conceptions aim to understand the values behind the approach and then select only those educational means which conforms to these values and then monitor the implementation process to ensure that the value system is being maintained. Artcraft conceptions aim to treat each teaching situation as unique and identify the particular characteristic of each situation and try out different teaching strategies and develop personal approaches to teaching. There are some tips for teachers in this article. This article says that science research conceptions of teaching might well provide a good starting point for inexperienced teachers, and as they gain experience, they can modify and adapt these initial theories of teaching, these science research conceptions, moving toward theory philosophy conceptions, and eventually they can teach more from an art-craft approach, creating teaching approaches according to the particular constraints and dynamics of the situations. But this doesn't mean that the art-craft approaches cannot hold the theory-based. They can hold a theory-based approaches, and also inexperienced teachers can begin with top-down approaches to bottom-up approaches such as art-craft approaches, art-craft conceptions.